Hey loves, it's me, Love Jones. I am back with another one. Maybe doing a few today in this weather. That's crazy. Somebody said it was burning on the East Coast and freezing on the West Coast. That don't sound like something God will do to prove a point. I was watching somebody earlier today. Reno, is his name, and he was just making a point that it's said Hollywood was on fire, which I did not know. Still never verified it. So again, I'm just going by what somebody else was talking about earlier today. Said Hollywood was on fire, and he was saying he don't believe it's no coincidence. He thinks it is what God is doing, because there's so many people there living a certain type of lifestyle and watching a bunch of people go without, watching a bunch of people lose certain things that have watched many people lose things in their life and go without certain things while they continue on their life as if it's not their problem. And he was just making a point that God wants us to help one another, to be able to lean into each other, to be able to provide for each other in times of need. Meanwhile, you have all of these people who are so far up, they feel like they can turn their nose down or turn their nose up to certain people. And so when it comes down to certain people losing things that they may have had, they had no problem with watching it. And he felt like this was God's way of putting us all on the same playing field, of balancing out things, balancing out certain things in life. It's kind of like when COVID came around, nobody was safe. Nobody was safe. It doesn't matter how rich or how poor you was, nobody was safe. And you feel like this is the same with one of those things where nobody is safe. This is the balancing act here. This is when the people who were so far up watching certain other kind of people they felt like was beneath them lose things. This is their turn to have to survive. This is their turn to see how it feels to lose the things that they worked hard for. This is their turn to seek out help from others. This is their turn to go through a lot of the things that other people have gone through. And so that is definitely something to think about. I'm shocked he actually said that. But once I heard it, it really does. It puts you in a certain mindset, because that is something to think about. You know, prayers go out to those who are in the midst of everything that's going on, those who are losing things, those who are being affected over in California. Prayers go out to those who are being affected here during the snowstorm. Fortunately for me, I don't have that issue as far as power going out and being without. I have all my snacks, my necessities here. Uh, I'm in a safe area, and so I don't really have those issues. My knowledge, my daughter is just fine. her and her family are safe, and that's all that matters. It's so funny because my phone went out not long ago, and I got this new phone because mine just went out all of a sudden one day. It's just like I couldn't press anything. And so I went and bought this new phone, and I was taking my time switching everything over because of course I couldn't just have them transfer it because you couldn't press anything. The phone was frozen. And so I was taking my time switching a bunch of stuff out. Hey, Missy. Hey, y'all. Do I remember you? I don't know. Do you? And so I was taking my time switching a bunch of things up on my phone. And I never did actually log in to some of my other social media sites, like my personal pages. I never actually got a chance to log in to. And so with everything going on, I decided to just look. I was just curious to see if anybody bothered to check on me, knowing the things that was going on, and just curious to see. And so I logged in to see if my mother, mainly specifically, I was wondering if she had said anything, or my brother or my sisters or anybody that I reached out to before, regarding some other things, if they had bothered to check on me. Come to find out, I mean, they didn't. It's not surprising to me. What I was surprised by, though, is that the last time I spoke with my mother, it was regarding an inheritance and some money, and I was asking her about it. And I remember telling y'all that her response was that specifically my father did not leave anything when he passed, but never referring to really anybody else. And after, I told her my situation, her response was just pretty much, I'll pray for you. Sometimes God puts us through things and da 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 da. And it made me go into a little bit more detail to her about what I felt and how certain family members made certain moves when I was doing just fine, when I was up in life, and how they made certain moves. And now that it seems like once I started losing things and everything they wanted to do, they were being able to do all of a sudden. And I just felt like a lot of their energy came from being jealous to a certain extent. And so I was mentioning that to her, and she just did not respond at all. And so that was just kind of the end of the conversation. She didn't respond anymore. But I go on there to check and see if she actually if she actually checked on me, or if anybody else ever actually checked on me considering the situation. And what do I see? Um, my mother has went into this, I don't know what you call it, like an incognito mode or something on IG, where everything that we speak about in the messages are automatically deleted afterwards. And I just thought that was so funny and weird at the same time because, for one, when I reached out to my sister asking her the same thing originally that I asked my mother if she knew anything about him, she read the message and didn't respond at all. My brother gave me every answer. My little brother, who's in the military or was in the military, he gave me every answer except for a yes or no. He refused to actually say yes or no when it came down to this. Like I said, he gave me every answer except for just a simple yes or no. So it got me thinking. I wonder, it makes me kind of feel like, are they all working in together? And for me to come back online and look and see that she's went into this mode where all of our messages towards each other are automatically deleted. She never responded to my last message. My sister read the message and never responded, and my little brother, like I said everything except for a definite yes or no. Kind of make me me question, are they all in on everything that's going on? Because it seemed like they were. The way they were moving originally, it seemed like they were. But I said all that to say, again, that's why what Reno was saying kind of makes sense. You know, it's gonna get to a point where everybody on the same level, on the same stumping grounds here. A lot of people doing things and feel like they are getting away with it, that they've gotten away with it, that they will continue to get away with it. And sometimes things come around and things happen to show you who's really in charge at the end of the day. And so, you know, meanwhile, you're gonna have to look out for yourself until you are able to see certain things. Um, until the script is flipped and they need you for certain things. Because I know it's going to come to a point where this is going to all come tumbling down, whatever it is they think they're doing behind the scene, and then they're going to want to reach out. They're going to want to reach out then. They're going to want to explain themselves, and at that point, you know, you're not going to want to hear it. You know, I listen to it, but you know, it doesn't mean anything. Because it's going to get to a point where it's like you only sorry because now you're going through stuff. You know, you are only remorseful because now you're having to deal with the same thing. Now you are losing. And I spoke about this before, how people talk about, but it was on regarding snitching, how people look at what they see as snitching, which certain things, to me, I wouldn't consider it as being a snitch. But I was talking about what people refer to as snitching and how they will keep their mouth closed to the people who need help, and they would talk amongst each other as if that's not the same thing that they talking about they won't do when they talk amongst each other with other people who they feel like know the situation, because they'll talk to everybody who actually needs the information that they have. They will tell everybody except for the person they need it. And I was saying, you know, at that point, is it really I'm not snitching or I'm not going to help this person? And I was just making a point that they would not reach out to help you in certain things, but you know, it's certain people who are kind of high up in life, well off, well established, who will, I've seen actually get on TV and they request, you know, they ask for, they almost beg for you to help them in certain situations, help them find certain items that was lost or stolen from them, to help them when they lose certain things, like in this natural disaster. But again, those same people, they won't reach out to help you when times get tough, when times are hard, when they see you going through things. And especially not when they are the cause of certain things and they're trying to continue to act like they don't know what's going on. And so, yeah, I know it's going to get to a certain point when my family decides to reach out to me. And at that point, I mean, it's safe to say that it's kind of every man for themselves, because I've reached out to y'all, I've tried to communicate with them, and I get kind of the runaround. I get lies. I get, like, from my little brother, little manipulation tactics where if anybody ever asks, he will never say that he actually told a lie, because he didn't give a for sure yes or no. He gave every other answer other than a yes or no, and I think he feel like something like that would go over my head, but I'm not crazy. I'm not stupid. I can read between the line. I pick up on energy very well. I see the things that aren't obvious to the naked eye. At this point, you would think they would know that, but I think they so far stuck. Their head is so far in their own behinds where they don't recognize that I recognize what it is that they're doing. And so it's just so sad to see how people will act when it comes down to money, how people will quickly choose sides and try to manipulate situations when it comes down to money. But just like this, disaster, just like COVID came around, just like the hurricanes show up and people that you don't think need the help end up needing the help. I feel like that's going to be the same case with a lot of people who are going through something like what it is that I'm going through. You're going to have a lot of people at the end of the day who are going to need your help getting out of what they did against you. And it's just not gonna work like that. And so just so if any of y'all are listening, it's just not gonna work like that. Aquarius. Yeah. So anyway, now that I've gotten that out the way, see these cards fell out here. Material trouble here, conformity, courage here, friendship. I feel like this is what a lot of people are going through. This is what they're trying to do. They want you to go through this material trouble here. They want you to be seen as if you are in this lack situation. When you have God, you can never go lacking anything. You may not have everything that you need, that you want, but you have everything that you need. Like the way the situation that I am in now. May not have everything that I want, but right here in this car, I have everything that I need to survive. As a matter of fact, I feel a lot safer here than I know a lot of people are in their own house. Being stuck in their own house, can't move, the power lines break because of the ice, and they have no air, no heat, no lights. Again, I'm a lot better off than they are in this situation, and I thank God for that. But this is how they want you. They feel like if they anchor your money down here and cause you to be in lack, then you would conform to whatever it is they want you to do. And so if you are out there living your life that God has intended you to live, and these people are out here being judgmental of what it is you have going on, and they feel like they want you to do something else, this is their way of trying to control you. This is their way of looking at the situation and saying, where I can force her to stop doing this. We'll just take these tarot cards, for instance. I can force her to stop doing tarot if we cause so much strife in her life, and then say, well, look at you. You wouldn't be going through this if, you were closer to God. You wouldn't be going through this if you did not do tarot. When the truth is, you're only going through it because they're going out of their way to put you through it. The truth is, you're only going through it because they seen you having access to something that they didn't have access to, because they seen you excelling in life in a way that they weren't able to excel on their own, because they seen you coming into maybe some type of inheritance, some type of spiritual inheritance, physical inheritance that they did not have access to. And so in order to gain access to it, they have to make you look a certain way. And then in their mind, that justifies them holding on to whatever this is right here that justifies them. That always gives me a church right here, people in a church. It's so funny because I am often followed or met at different places that I go to. At this point, they probably know my routine, and so they go to where they know I'm going. I'm often met at certain places. And yesterday, you know, I just decided I'm gonna start going to different gyms. I'm not gonna be at the same one, because of what I know they do. We've already showed you evidence about things that they do. When I frequent somewhere, how they have people show up to where I frequent, spread rumors, tell lies to make people look a certain way. It's like they're using my own community against me. And so it doesn't feel like my community anymore. Um, and so I've already showed you instances where they do that. And so yesterday I decided I'm not going to keep going to the same gym. I'm just going to start bouncing around, going to different ones. And so I got to this different one. And of course it was same thing, parking lot kind of filled with certain things. And I question if it's like spiritual warfare, if it's what they want me to think, and so they place certain things around me, or if it's particular people. And it's probably a combination of them both. But I was curious yesterday and I just decided to pull some cards. And when I pull the card, I only pull one from the entire deck, y'all. I only pulled one card, reached down in the middle and pulled one. And the first thing that came out, the only thing that I pulled, was actually the church. The church. And it's very strange, It got me to thinking. A lot of times that's why people leave the church, because people there are so judgmental, and people feel like they are evil because they are so judgmental. Because how can you be in the church acting as if you are better than, when you're out in the streets doing things that you don't want people to know what you're doing? I have a lot, I grew up in a church, a Baptist church. But when I came here in Georgia in '06, I went to several different churches, mainly Christian churches and non-denominational churches. Um, the last one I actually was a member of is a Christian church. And I actually love going to their church, but I stopped going for several different reasons. And so it's nothing against the church itself, but more so the people who frequent these churches, the way they do things, because they feel like they are holier than now. They feel like they are the chosen ones. They feel like they are the ones who God has anointed to do certain things, and they use it to manipulate certain situations. And so I've been getting a lot of this church. This is what I feel every time I get this card now. That always looks like a stained glass window to me. And it's something about a religion, or people of a certain religion that's doing things to oppress other people, especially if they feel like those people have gifts and they are not in church 2-3 days out of the week like they are. But the thing about that is God knows your heart. He knows your heart. And that's what you'll be judged by at the end. And so if you have a relationship with him on your own, your temple is his house. Your body, your heart, your brain. And so you don't have to go and listen to someone else's opinion of the word to justify the relationship that you have yourself with God. And so, as for me, I don't feel the need to go to certain places. And evidently, God doesn't feel that way either, because there's many different ways you can open up your gifts. But everything I have had open up in these past few years has been on its own. I'm not doing anything special in the background. It's not me watching a video and opening my third eye. It's through my relationship with God and, building that relationship there where I've been able to start doing certain things, where I've had certain insight on certain things. So anyway, I definitely feel like people in the church have something to do with this. People of a specific religion. It's like they don't like whatever it is that's being done. And so this is their way of trying to control you. Now, at this point, I don't know if you've been going through this for as long as I have. At this point, it's probably many different people who have agreed to help this certain situation on the other party side. They've agreed to help them for different reasons. And so now you may have many different people here that are doing what they're doing against you for many different reasons. You may have jealousy on some people's part. You may have people who want you to conform to what it is that they're doing. People just want to control you. May have people just don't want to see you win. They don't want to see you do whatever this life is that God has set out for you. And that's unfortunate, because as long as you keep God on your side, you're going to be able to do whatever that is anyway. It may take a little time because of all the people you have coming against you, but you'll be able to do whatever it is. They can't take it from you like they think they can. These destiny swappers out here, these people who are trying to get you to go in their direction instead of realizing that God has a certain path in life for everybody. And just because they think something is not for you doesn't mean that that's the case. A lot of people should mind their own business and just be supportive of what people in your life are doing, the route that they have decided to take, the path that they've decided to take. Unfortunately, many people don't do that. Yeah, when it comes down to races, they have what they call is the Karens in life, who a lot of time are the white women, who will go out their way to mind your business when whatever it is you're doing is really none of their business, when all they really had to do was just keep going about whatever it is that you were doing. I feel like we have Karens in all different races, and a lot of people don't realize that they are that. Religions especially, because they go out the way to mind other people's business. They feel like they know better than a person knows themselves. Meanwhile, people trying to control you, they lack control over themselves. And so you would think they would be focused a lot more on their relationship with God, on the way that they live their life, than on the way that other people live theirs. But that's not the case here. And so you have somebody here anyway who is anchoring someone's money down, who has held back on giving someone what belongs to them, who has made somebody's life a living hell, and who are probably out there telling others that they're only going through this because of what it is they did, when the truth is, if you were like me, you were living a very fruitful life. And it's because of what you do. It's because of how you do it. It's because of the heart that you have that God has placed you on a certain path to have certain things. Meanwhile, you have people who don't feel the same. And they're trying to make you do what they want you to do. They feel like you should suffer. And so they're trying to make you suffer. They pretend as if they don't know what's going on. And they absolutely do know what's going on. And then you have some people out there that are just doing it just simply because they want what it is that you were destined to have. And so they holding back on your money and making an excuse. But the truth is, it's because they want it for themselves. The truth is, they wish that something would happen to you so that they are able to keep whatever this is. And that's the truth. On the bottom of the deck, it's corruption. It's corruption. Because they've worked with so many different people to get this done. Because people have chosen sides. I see a mother-in-law here who may have something to do with this. Proverbs 17:22, a joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit saps one's strength. Yeah, I got clout chasing here. Somebody here is clout chasing and they watching, but they not seeing much of anything. At least not to you. They watch you and they try to pretend like they don't watch. That's how a lot of people do out here. They see everything you do because they're watching spiritually, but they try to pretend like they don't see what it is that you do. No, I was just thinking the other day, I don't know how it is that people find it odd when you speak of black magic, when you speak of spell work, when you speak of dibbling dabbling into the spiritual realm of things and being open to things that are on the negative aspect of it and being able to use and manipulate those things to cause chaos in other people's life. I'm not sure why it is that people find it so hard to believe when certain things are in religion itself. You know, if we can say that voodoo is a part of the African religion, then why is it that we don't believe that people are out here doing voodoo? Why is it such taboo for people to speak about it? Why is it that people still to this day rather look at a person like they're crazy rather than to see the obvious, rather than to admit certain things happen in life? And that's why a lot of people can't see because they're refusing to see. A lot of people can't see because they refuse to see. I got war right here, trouble, and failure. This is also this priest card, failure. Because I feel like whatever it is that they've been trying to do, that they've included the church in and they've included the community in, it's not going as planned. It's not going the way they thought it was going to go. Especially if you've been through all the things that I've been through at this point, they should have been successful in completing whatever it is that they've tried to do. They should have been successful. You should be in a tent under a bridge somewhere in the snow, because that's where they want you. And they should be off somewhere living a good life on what it is that God left for you. And in some cases, imitating your personality, acting as if God chose them. And God can work with many different people, and He does a lot of times pick the people who the average person would never think that He has chosen. But your heart has to be pure. Nobody here is perfect, you know. But you have to at least have good intentions. And these people who have set out to do what it is that they've been doing, their intentions aren't good. And so it baffles me how this church energy can keep going up, how these religions could keep popping up. Because we look at that and we think these are people with good intentions. When the truth is, they don't have good intentions here. So, sorry to hear you are going through that, Devin Michelle. Yeah, this is a whole family setup here, and the family working with the community here. And it's to keep you down, to make you look a certain way, to make you experience certain things so that they can get away with something that belongs to you. As I've been shuffling, I see a stolen house here. Um, Somebody could definitely have access to a house that does not belong to them. I see fraud. Somebody could have definitely committed some fraud to get access to certain things that they should not have access to. And it all stems from money. You'd be surprised, you know, when people see money, what they're willing to do. One minute, life is fine. The next minute, they see something you're supposed to have, and everybody losing their mind. Everybody is losing their mind. Everybody wants it. Everybody can find a million things that's wrong with you and what you did wrong in your life where you can't, you don't deserve what it is that you're getting. Meanwhile, they're doing a million things wrong in the background and they feel like they deserve it better than you do. I was actually thinking the other day, I was just driving and thinking to myself, you know, what if evil is really a veil? If you switch the words around, the letters around, what you get is veil, and it's something that you wear to cloak yourself, to pull over your face when you are committing to certain things. Uh, you pull the veil off somebody's face when they're getting married. What if evil is really like a veil? Because nobody is perfect. And in the world of having addictions, what they say is the first step to solving a problem is admitting that you have one. What if evil is the veil that people wear so that people won't recognize who they really are? What if that veil that you're wearing actually keeps you from realizing the evil aspects that you have, and therefore you never correct it? And that's where the evil comes in, that the fact that you are walking around pretending to be something that you are not and hiding who you truly are, rather than taking a look at who you really are and correcting it. Because again, nobody here is perfect. But if you can't see the wrong in what it is that you're doing, maybe that's what makes you evil. And it's just a random thought. Unfortunately, when I'm riding a lot, when I'm sitting, so I spend a lot of time with myself, I think about a lot of different things. Um, a lot of things are put on my spirit, and that's one of them. What if all you had to do was pull that veil off and recognize who you are and correct the things about you? What if it's just that easy to go from evil to good? Once you realize that, then it wouldn't be such an issue with you recognizing where people can can easily make changes in their life and be seen as a certain thing in God's eye. Be seen as a good person in God's eye. Be seen as something that God can use to cause certain changes in life, not just in their life, but in many other people's lives. Because you have a lot of people walking around with that veil on and refusing to look at themselves and refusing to allow other people to look at you for who you truly are, pretending that you're something else that you're not. Anyway. See what else comes out of this deck. We already been on here. 4040. It's the time I just seen. 4040. 44. Something could be happening around a holiday. Somebody could be on a holiday. You know, when you go to other countries, they call holidays vacations. So if you're vacationing, they call it a holiday. Somebody may be going on vacation. Excuse me. Something's happening here. Whatever it is that they thought they were going to do, they won't be successful in it. What they've done is just not only expose their hand, but they're exposing a lot of other people who they've gotten involved with this. And so now when everything comes out, you'll be able to see a lot of people for who they are. You'll be able to see a lot of people who just got involved with something just for the extra dollars that they can make. You know, a lot of people who are out there willing to ruin somebody's life, willing to ruin somebody's reputation just so they can have a little more money in their pocket, just so they can be viewed a certain way. Paranoia here. Because this is probably what they are right now at this point. Paranoid at what's to come. They think they stopped you. And they may have slowed you down, but slow and steady wins the race, right? Slow and steady wins the race. And so when karma comes around, when they start suffering at the hands of what they actually put out there themselves, then they're going to look and see that they actually need you. Not just for a handout, but to speak life into them, to figure out how it is that you were able to get through all the stuff that they were putting you through, to figure out how you survive so that they can try to survive this themselves. So nothing else coming out right now. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I wasn't trying to make this 40, 45 minutes, 50 minutes long. I'm gonna go ahead and end this, and I will be back. I'll be back, y'all.